So I have been giving access to the Pioneer server, and once I logged in there, well, I've seen that all these heroes in here are a 3 stars. And while having, of course, the resources to bring all these heroes to 5 stars, I said to myself, hold on a second, why not take advantage of this situation and do a hero march tier list? And in this episode, we're going to focus on the warrior swordsman. But this time, beautiful people, all the heroes will going to be 3 stars. I will not going to use Josephine. I will not going to use King Derek. I won't use Harald. I definitely won't use Hammurabi. And of course, I won't use King Arthur. There are still 14 different setups when it comes down to the warrior swordsman. And you already see now on the screen, the tier list is ready and the values are also implemented. So all is missing is to place every single of these 14 marches into their correct slot. But not just that, beautiful people, I also on top gonna show you a beautiful graphic in order for you to understand even better the power of these marches, because that's exactly what these numbers will gonna show us. And if you would like me to do a couple of more videos like this, in which all heroes are 3 stars, and we can do that for the pikemen, for the cavalry, for the archers, also, of course, taking into consideration, martial, warrior, and tacticians, well, all you have to do is to support what's supposed to be back. And there are 2 ways to do it, as you should subscribe to this channel. A lot of you guys are watching these videos, yet are not subscribing. Obviously, watch these videos till the end. Share this channel with your friends, and the other way to support this channel is by taking advantage of this channel sponsor, which is Eneba, because with every single purchase, you're going to get far more for your money. And over time, this definitely adds up. And of course, using my link, which you'll find in the video description and in the messages, you are massively supporting this channel. And before we're going to have a look at all these 14 different marches performance, I have to add something super important, as I will not going to use the horses in this test. But what's super important, I also will not going to use the rings for a very important reason. While indeed the rings are massively improving your march strength, I still don't know the answer to a very, very important question, which is, well, is your swordsman your main march? In this case, of course, yes, you definitely have to have the Tranquil Water ring. It's absolutely worth it. But maybe your warrior swordsmen are your second best march, or even your third best march, because you have cavalry, you have the pikemen, and you always want to have the best rings on your strongest setup. So that's why I will never going to use the rings in this test. So now when it comes down to the warrior swordsman, well, there are actually only 2 proper commanders. One of them is of course, Miyamoto, and the other one is Yoded. So first we're going to look at 7 different setups in which Miyamoto is the commander. And of course, I will going to have to explain you what exactly are these numbers which you see on the screen. So obviously, there's going to be 20 battle reports in total. These values here are sorted. So on slot number 1, you're always going to find the craziest performance possible for that specific setup. And on slot number 20, you will find the worst performance possible for all these 14 setups, as that is super important and is also going to be highlighted in the graphic, as the battle results in Age of Empires Mobile are actually results interval and never a fixed value. Feel free at any point to actually take a screenshot, as you also will be able to see what skills am I using on the heroes. And now let's start with Miyamoto, Tribuana, and Larghetta. So this is the very important number, as it represents the total damage output, the average. So in this case is 115,425 points, which represents the total amount of damage done by this setup. And this is a very important number, which we consider to represent the entire march strength, even if you are using a heroes like Constantine, which is going to give you a damage reduction and healing. Those 2 factors are also having an impact on the overall total damage output of this setup. So let's move now to Miyamoto, Tribuana, and Constantine. So here you see the best performance possible, 79,822 points. The worst performance possible is 50k. But the most important number is the average total damage output. And this, in this case, is, 67,875 points, far lower. And you probably already have seen these numbers are not sorted, but don't worry about this. We're going to do that with that rank list. Let's move now to Miyamoto, Tribuana, and Yoded, which actually I was using before Larghetta was implemented. And this match performance has an overall total damage output of 92,901 points. Very solid, though a difference to Miyamoto, Tribuana and Largetta. Let's move on to the next possible match, which is Miyamoto, Tribuana and Mehmet this time. And the total average damage output is 81,501 points, which is solid, but indeed there are differences. Now let's have a look at the other three possibilities in which Miyamoto is commander. And we are looking at Miyamoto with Yodit and Largetta, and this match reaches a performance of 91,903 points. We also see here Miyamoto, Yodit and Konstantin reaching a 76,964 points, or match strength. And of course Miyamoto, Yodit and Mehmet, and this match reaches an average total damage output of 89,771 points. Now let's have a look at the 7 different setups in which this time Yodit will gonna be the commander. And we're gonna use the exact same combination, so in no particular order. So we see here Yodit, Tribuana and Largetta, and this match reaches a strength or a total damage output of 88,654 points. Next we move to Yodit, Tribuana and Konstantin. And this match reaches a match performance of 75,749 points. Here we are seeing Yodit, Tribuana and Miyamoto, and this match reaches a performance of 77,357 points. Here we see Yodit, Tribuana and Mehmet, and this match reaches a performance of 85,455 points. And let's now have a look at the other 3 possibilities in which Yodit is commander. As we are seeing here Yodit with Miyamoto and Largetta, and this match reaches a performance of 81,043 points. We are also seeing here Yodit, Miyamoto and Konstantin, and this match has a performance of 75,580 points. And of course Yodit, Miyamoto and Mehmet, and this match reaches a performance of 78,528. There is 1 8 too much in here. So these are the 14 different setups for the Warrior Swordsman. Now let's rank all these 14 matches. And we were gonna start with rank 14. And there's gonna be an interesting conclusion in just a moment. And on rank 14, we find Miyamoto, Tribuana and Konstantin. This right here is the average total damage output value, which in this case is 67,875 points. And this number right here is extremely important. Minus 41.2%. And this number represents the difference between the strength of this setup and rank number 1. So that's a huge difference, beautiful people. Let's move to rank 13, as here we are finding Yodit, Miyamoto and Konstantin yet again. This is the average total damage, but this value right here is super important. It's still minus 34.5% weaker than rank 1. Let's now move to rank number 12, and here we're finding Yodit, Tribuana and Konstantin again. And while the difference between rank 12 and rank 13 is just 0.1%, it still doesn't change the fact that the strength of this setup on rank 12 is still 34.4% weaker than rank 1. Good, let's have a look at rank 11, which is Miyamoto, Tribuana and Konstantin again. And while the difference between rank 11 and rank 12 is just 1.1%, in performance, we are still seeing this setup being 33.3% weaker than rank 1. A massive difference. And let's stop for a second right here, because of Konstantin. And I'm actually surprised to see him at the bottom of the ranks, as you have to pay for this hero to unlock it, and also you have to pay for this hero to bring him to 5 stars. Well, in this case, it's 3 stars. So I think this is a very important piece of information, especially when it comes down to this hero. Now let's move to rank number 10, and here we find Yodit, Tribuana and Miyamoto. Again, the difference between consecutive ranks is not big at all, but yet we're still seeing here a 32.9% weaker performance than rank number 1. So now let's move to rank number 9, and here we find Yodit, Miyamoto and Mehmet with a solid performance, but still 31.9% weaker than rank 1. Let's move now to rank number 8, in which we are finding Yodit, Miyamoto and Largetta with a slightly better performance, but still 29.8% weaker than rank 1. Let's move now to rank number 7, where we find Miyamoto, Tribuana and Mehmet. And again, the difference between rank 7 and rank 8 is just 0.4%, but still, Miyamoto, Tribhuwana, and Mehmet is 29.4% weaker than the rank number 1. Let's move to rank number 6, and here we find Judith, Tribhuwana, and Mehmet. Now we see a bigger difference between rank 6 and rank 7, but still doesn't change the fact that this March is 25.9% weaker than rank 1. Let's move to rank number 5, and here we find Judith, Tribhuwana, and Larghetta with a solid performance, but still 23.2% weaker than rank 1. Let's move now to rank number 4, and here we find Miyamoto, Judith, and Mehmet. Again, the difference is not big between consecutive ranks, but still 22.2% weaker performance than rank 1. Well, let's move now to top 3. So, rank number 3, we find Miyamoto, Judith, and Larghetta as very solid performance, but still we see a 20.4% weaker performance than rank 1. Let's move now to rank number 2, and here we find Miyamoto, Tribhuwana, and Judith. The difference between rank 2 and rank 3 is super small, yet still 19.5% weaker than rank 1. And who is on rank 1, beautiful people? Yeah, probably a couple of you guys already guessed it. That's Miyamoto, Tribhuwana, and Larghetta. And you see the difference is massive. And while Miyamoto is exactly a hero like Constantine, which you have to pay in order to unlock him, you have to pay if you want to raise him to a higher star level, this hero is definitely worth it. So now you have seen the ranks. Feel free at any point to take a screenshot. But you know what? Let me show you a beautiful graphic in order for you to understand even better this performance difference, as these ranks over here are just showing the average total damage output, but as mentioned at the beginning of the video, the battle results in Age of Empires Mobile, those are results interval and never a fixed value. So yeah, beautiful people, look at this mess. Because I really wanted to display the battle results interval for all these 14 setups, and you can see right here which color represents which march. But if we zoom out for a second, you really see how massive the difference is between the rank 1, which is Miyamoto, Tribhuwana, and Larghetta, and the rest of the possible setups. Not just only from the average performance, but also for the entire interval. As even if you are extremely unlucky, you're still gonna start here at 91,298 points in this case, which is a massive difference to the rank number 2. And this interval goes all the way to 145,487 points, a case which represents you being extremely lucky with the activation of the hero skills. And again, you see where the rest of the numbers are at 119k, 115k, 113k. The difference is absolutely massive. So anyways, beautiful people, this was the video on the Warrior Swordsman. All 14 possible marches, but all heroes were at 3 stars. And again, as mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think it's absolutely worth it to support what supports you back, because these informations are extremely important for you to know upfront, because when you build a march in Age of Empires Mobile, you're gonna need a lot of resources to do that. And on the other side, doing such episodes like this take a massive amount of time, as to get these results, you need around 300 battle reports, gather these numbers, sort these numbers, and so on and so on. And of course, now it's your turn to jump in the comments and share your thoughts. What do you think about this analysis? What do you think about the quality of this analysis? Thank you very much for watching, beautiful people, and I'm gonna catch you in the next awesome episode. Ciao, ciao, ciao.